Good morning or good evening, 671st Leadership. This is First Lieutenant Aguilar. I'll be presenting the CONOPS for October and November BA. Mission for October BA is listed right here. The PMI and the ACFT are the big priorities, with the Bailey Bridge training as a secondary. For our timeline for 15 October, it'll be basically the same as it always is for the morning leading up to the diagnostic ACFT, which will take place in the morning from about 0730 to 1000. Our timeline does kind of depend on the ACFT, as it is possible that we might have to do 2 iterations of the ACFT, given our greater constraint. If that's the case, we can do the ACFT right after the first ACFT and push the morning ops to the afternoon, because they're mostly just carryover. The afternoon ops are mostly just carryover from morning ops anyways. We'll have lunchtime, and then following that, the afternoon ops. Again, those carryover things will be admin and PMCS. However, the new stuff that will be happening in the afternoon is the big focus, PMI. Second bridge is responsible for the M4. There will be 2 stations for the M4 instruction. A classroom instruction, which will be led by Corporal Segra, apologies, where there'll be slides just kind of showing them, reminding them of the newish standards and test or assessment. But then also we'll be actually having the barrier in there in the classroom with a rubber duck, so soldiers can practice their firing position changes with a little bit of help and coaching as well, before they move on to part 2, which is the EST 2000 station, if we have the EST 2000 available, led by Sergeant Kirk, where they'll be able to run through the whole thing, just the EST 2000 version. So that's a big ask, I would say. Being able to procure the EST 2000 for BA would be extremely helpful to maximizing soldiers' training. Another new thing we have is inventory. We have a plan for that. We have a soldier who can work with Sergeant Hicks to get inventories done. And then PMCS, which I haven't touched on, Sergeant Wells will be working that. Next day is 16 October. Pretty similar morning, other than we have the morning free, which is nice, no ACFT. So again, PMCS, PMI, and admin wrap up, trying to finish up all those things. Big focus of this day will be equipment prep for November BA, getting everything all ready and good to go. Additionally, again, if we are ahead of the curve, we are going to be allowed to move on to our secondary mission, which is the Bailey Bridge training, which the morning portion, we don't actually need a lot of people for that. We just need enough people to do the site layout and hopefully have a few extra bodies so they can see how to do the site layout. But again, the focus is the equipment prep for November BA. Then we'll have lunch, and then we'll move into the afternoon operations, which mostly consists of a carryover from morning operations. Admin's not wrapped up, and there are other things. Maybe there's leftover PMI still at that point. PMCS will be done by that point, but there'll be maybe some leftover PMI if people are trickling in. But the focus is, hopefully, the Bailey Bridge training of 4 Bailey launch and retrieval. This will be kind of the run phase of the Bailey Bridge phase of our training, and then later on down the line, we'll be able to move on to the acro training. Main asks for the weekend are listed here. Of course, the big one is the EST 2000. Will we have that available? If so, which days? Ask number 2, will we have RPAC support, and which days will they be available, if at all? And then just a small ask is Baja Fresh going to be provided for lunch? Not a big thing. Okay, moving on to November. Okay, cool. So here's November's plan. It's pretty similar for the 3rd of November, just the movement out. It's pretty similar. Trying to see any of the big things. Just, of course, the tracer class, 1330 is the time we had to be there last time, so making sure that we front load our tracer class representative, which we have one assigned. I'll get to who that is later. And then just basically, once we arrive at YTC, just the PMI preparatory range drops and rehearsals, drop barracks, and extra VIX fill up and pre-stage VIX for the range operations. And then 7:30 to end. I'm guessing we're going to have the evening briefs there. I know we were talking about the Sharp and EO brief at one of the 306090s. So I thought that'd be a good time to have it if we do decide to still have those briefs in November BA. Yep, that's the main things. We're going to have a lot of different weapon systems, of course, because this is the crew serve, so we'll fill those numbers in once we have those ready to go. We'll be bringing 2 radios. I'll get to that as well later when we actually get to the range operation running. Here we go. Here's the main range breakdown. Second Bridge is responsible for the M4 qual range. So here's the basic timeline, subject to change. Basically trying to get ranges hot as early as we can when there's good daylight, but making sure soldiers still get enough rest so they're good to go and can qualify effectively on their ranges. I thought some pretty good hard stop times. Will be a little bit different from day to day, but on the 4th of November, so that we can maybe make ranges cold at 16:30. And then do the brass and ammo shakedown then, so then we can head over to El Matador for dinner. Unless we can get it shuttled out, then we can extend the time the ranges run, so that's also a possibility. Then 16 November, we are going to have to shut down the range a little bit earlier, so we can do the full police call and brass and ammo shakedown, so we don't have any trouble turning back in the ranges. No big changes to anything here. Oh, one thing is we do have an LMTV ready to go, designated as a VIC for Kazovac. However, it would be helpful if we utilize one of the firefighter DETS vehicles instead. That would be a better option. We have a medic. I'll get to the range assignments, I think, in the next slide. But yep, working lunches and then the hot meal for dinner. Additional ask is, do we have the TMP buses good to go? And do we have barracks good to go? I'm sure those answers, you guys already answered that earlier. Again, sorry I can't be there tonight. Okay, here's some coordinating operations so you can actually see the breakdown. I tried to underline the things that are a little bit, I guess, different than usual. First thing, our graphic right here, lanes 7 and 8 and lanes 10 and 11, that one and that one, will be the only lanes utilized until overflows are necessary. This services 8 soldiers at a time, so that's actually, that might not seem like a lot, but when they don't have to walk all the way there or all the way there, then we're actually able to run through the 8 soldiers pretty quickly, and we haven't really had issues keeping up with the inflow of soldiers until at the very end, where at that point we can start to utilize more range safeties, aka qualified soldiers who already qualified on the range, to open up more lanes. But we're just going to use 7 and 8 and 10 and 11 until we start to have a lot of overflow, because it's easier to hear the speakers. It's actually pretty hard to hear the speakers at the farther lanes. So that's the game plan. And be 2 soldiers per lane, 1 spotter and 1 shooter. And yeah, like I said, once the soldier finishes qualifying, they'll act as a reserve ammo detail or range safeties as necessary, especially towards probably on the second day of the M4 qual. We'll need that more on the second day. Okay, here's the range assignments. We got the OIC myself. I'll just kind of let you guys look at this. I'll kind of pause. I'll see if there's anything to say. Oh, the CBT with the radio. We're going to be utilizing Bravo 206, and then we'll have a contingency radio. That's why I said 2 extra radios. Oh, and then also the range rep will be Sergeant Meadows and Sergeant Kirk for not the range rep, the tracer rep. For the class, the tracer class, and they'll also be running the tower. We just kind of have an extra contingency just in case we got to utilize one of those for another range. That's why I'm bringing 2. And then our ammo handlers. And then, yes, the range safeties, that list will inflate quite a bit with other people being added. Okay, and then the return plan, it's kind of like all of our return plans, nothing really big. I didn't say, I forgot, sorry, in the first one, the convoy commander, we haven't determined that yet, or maybe we have, I forgot to write it in my notes, so I just wrote TBD. But those are the usual stops we use. However, the convoy commander can make his or her decision. That's why I said just subject to change. Yeah, just get home. But then the end of the workday, it's not over until we finish all this stuff. So recovery operations, counselings, SI inventory, admin wrap-up, PMCS, AAR, that kind of stuff. Accountability when we get back, making sure everything's squared and good to go. That's everything. Sorry, I talked a little bit long, but I kept it under 10. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks. Goodbye.